This is Elder High Priestess Tehila
And High Priest Ogunslav.
from the Coven of the Open Mind, and you're watching 5-Minute Q&As.
Hail and welcome.
We're going to try to answer as many questions as we can in just 5 minutes. First question is for you, High Priest Ogunslav.
Okay.
How big does my circle need to be?
Your circle simply just needs to be as big as the area that you'll be working in. Remember, the purpose of casting circle is to make the space sacred that you'll be using. So it just needs to be as big as the area, and whatever and whoever will be in it should also be in circle. However, Gerald Gardner originally said that the circle should be 9 feet in diameter, but that's just
way too
so
small. Yeah.
It's just not realistic, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, alright, so next, do I have to face the directions north, east, south, and west when calling the elements?
You don't have to, I guess. It's good to know which directions, where the directions are and face the right direction when you're invoking the elements, but bear in mind that people use different elements for each direction, so it's definitely not a requirement, and there's a lot of different ways to do it, so you should just do whatever feels right to you.
Nice.
Okay, question for you.
Okay.
Why do witches have witch names?
They have their witch names, or what's also called magical names, as a way to set them apart from the mundane world and to show their devotion to their own craft. Typically, when you get your first name, it's during your first degree initiation, your second name for your second degree initiation, and your third name for your third degree initiation. Your names are typically a reflection of you and your personality. So, for example, my name is Ogunslav Firewind. I chose Ogunslav because it's ancient Russian, and I was born in Russia, and it means glorious fire, and my inner element is fire.
Right.
I decided to take Firewind as my second name because before we even met, you already had this as your second name, and it was just fitting when we got married that your...
My element's wind, and his element is fire.
Exactly, so...
Meant to be.
Yep.
Okay, great. Next
question for you. Are there witch churches?
So there's no witch church. I mean, most witches, when they do ritual in an indoor space, they would do it inside of their covenstead if they have one, and that's the closest thing to like a church that you're going to find in Wicca is a covenstead, and a covenstead is just like the house of wherever the high priest and high priestess live, and people go there to do ritual and take classes, and it's got a lot of supplies and tools, so we're doing this video from our covenstead. And there's usually a space designated for an altar and for worship and that sort of thing. It's kind of like, if you've heard of a Chabad house in Judaism, it's like the same concept. Now, most Wiccans would worship outside, so they would just go to a place. If they like rent a location, it might be like a Quaker meeting house or that sort of thing, so they would rent it. So there's no real like set place to do ritual in Wicca. So there's no real such thing as a church. No. Okay.
Nice.
So question for you. Are fairies, elves, dragons, and other mythical creatures actually real?
Well, yes and no. No, in the sense that they don't physically exist. They don't have physical bodies in this realm. They're on a higher plane of existence than us, somewhere between us and divinity. These energies all have their own personalities and their own consciousness as well. So they do exist, just not physically. You can't touch them, you know?
Right. Okay.
Next question for you. Why do we use magic wands?
So magic wands are used for invocation, not like how they're used in Harry Potter and like other fun fantasy universes. Instead, wands are a tool that's used to help bring energy in or to call an entity down into your circle, like deity. And the reason for that is because if you think about the purpose of plants, of trees, which we make wands out of wood, right? The purpose of trees is to convert one chemical into another, to convert carbon dioxide into oxygen, something that's life-giving, something that we breathe. And the purpose of invocation is to transform yourself from something that is not usable to something that is, you know, better, usable, whatever. Yep. So the wand, the wood, all of it is associated with the element of transformation. Okay, sweet. Last question for you.
All right.
Doesn't the pentagram mean devil worship?
No. What it means is it's actually a symbol of the 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And it's also can be used for protection, which is like the opposite of devil worship. And it's just, social media pretty much in the Christian church has demonized the pentagram to make everybody else think that's devil worship, and it could be further from the truth.
Okay, well, that's all the questions we have time for this time. We hope you learned something and enjoyed this. From all of us here at the Coven of the Open Mind, blessed be.
Blessed be.